Part 3. Constructed response questions. 28 points. Directions. This section has 2 parts. Follow the directions for each question. Write your answers in the area on the answer sheet marked with the question number. You do not need to copy the questions. 2. English composition. 20 points. Directions. Write an English essay based on the prompts. At least 120 words. Prompt. In addition to academic pressure, teenagers today often face various troubles and challenges in daily life. The 3 pictures below show 3 problems that teenagers often face. If you had a robot helper that could solve one of these problems, which one would you choose? Write an English essay in 2 paragraphs. In the first paragraph, explain which problem you most want to solve and why. In the second paragraph, describe what traits or abilities you want this robot helper to have, and how it would work with you to solve the problem. 1. First heartbreak. 2. Caring what others think. 3. Mood swings. 1. Chinese to English translation. 8 points. Directions. Translate the following Chinese sentences into correct, fluent English. Follow the question numbers. 4 points each, 8 points total. 2. Besides praying for a good election result, they also want to show respect for local culture and customs. 1. During election season, politicians can always be seen visiting famous temples around the country. Part 2. Mixed questions. 10 points. Directions. This section has 1 question set. The points for each sub-question are shown at the end of the question. Answer only in the area on the answer sheet marked with the question number, using the designated writing instrument. Questions 47 to 50 are based on the following passage. Many animals are known to live and move in groups to secure food and avoid predators. Over the years, people have been curious about the way they deal with disturbances arising from the environment and the operations underlying their responses as a group. Studies on jackdaws and turtle ants may provide some insights into the issue. Jackdaws are birds in the crow family often found in the English countryside. They are highly social birds and often travel in large flocks. Normally, the birds enjoy a smooth flight together as a group when commuting between 2 locations, such as from their nesting site to their feeding ground. However, if a predator, such as a fox, is present, the pattern of their flight will change immediately. Instead of paying attention to all the other members and following the group pattern, they now focus only on the birds within a fixed distance from them, based on information coming from other members. By doing so, the flock members are able to keep a safe distance between themselves, and thus avoid crashing into each other while they flee from the predator. Turtle ants often live in the cavities of dead branches in American forests. They have evolved search strategies to link their food source to their nests. They travel entirely along tree branches and vines, laying down trails of pheromone, a chemical substance, behind them so that other ants can follow. The trails connect the ants' colonies and sources of food, forming a sort of communication network. However, since these trails can easily be broken by wind or rain, the ants have to find new paths to get around the broken points and re-establish the network. Often they have to work together to explore alternative routes many times before they finally settle on the most efficient one. By working collectively, the ants are able to improve the efficiency of their network and adapt to their ever-changing environment. 50. What is the disturbance for jackdaws mentioned in the passage? Short answer, 2 points. 49. From A to F below, choose the ones that are true for both jackdaws and turtle ants. Multiple response question, 4 points. A. They have special strategies to locate food sources. B. They have complex interactions led by a leader. C. They share information with their group members. D. They establish rules to stay away from enemies. E. They change their nesting sites from time to time. F. They show behavior governed by a unique system of communication. 47 to 48. The following brief statements summarize the main points of the passage above. Find the most appropriate word from the passage to fill in each blank below. Make any necessary form changes to fit the sentence structure so the meaning is complete, the grammar is correct, and it matches the context of the passage. Fill in one word per blank. Fill in 4 points. Studies show that animals like jackdaws and turtle ants are able to use collective intelligence in both solving problems and adapting to new challenging environment. Part 1. Multiple choice questions. 62 points. 5. Reading comprehension. 24 points. Directions. Questions 35 to 46 are multiple choice questions. 2 points each. Questions 43 to 46 are based on the following passage. In 2020, Pedor Oddsson, a power station worker in Iceland, was struck by a 60,000-volt current. The electrical shock burned almost half of his body and melted layers of his skin off. Such deep and extensive burns can be fatal. But Oddsson's life was saved by a creative invention, transplanting codfish skins onto human bodies. A triumph for medical technology, Oddsson's fish skin transplantation was actually part of the astonishing achievement of 100% fish, an ambitious task in promoting environmental efficiency. The Icelandic project, from which this pioneering procedure emerged, strives for making a fundamental change in the marine industry. It aims to encourage full utilization of each fish caught, and to strengthen innovation in seafood products. Reducing waste of fish catch has become a serious issue today, when many countries are faced with food crises. According to a 2003 study, about 60% of a codfish caught in Iceland was lost or wasted during the production process for human consumption. Under the guidance of 100% fish, however, Icelanders are now using almost 95% of a cod. Cod skin, for example, is made into calcium supplement and energy drinks, and even as material for skin transplantation as in Oddsson's case. Dried fish heads and spines are exported to West Africa, where they are used as the base of a protein-rich soup. Other groundbreaking products, including omega-3 capsules, cold virus pretreatment sprays, and dog snacks are made from what was once cod catch detritus. The Icelandic success is accomplished largely through cooperative efforts across various industries. 100% Fish takes the initiative to show seafood companies the importance of collaboration, and facilitate valuable connections between fishing companies and other participants of the project, including academia, startups, and research and development teams. By sharing knowledge and information, the different sectors are able to come up with improved processing and handling, through which creation of various innovative products was made possible. The project not only helps Icelanders to get 30% more value from each cod than most developed countries, but also provides an effective model to promote resource efficiency worldwide. 46. Here is a sentence: almost nothing of a fish is left for the trash bin. Which paragraph is most suitable to have it as the final sentence? A. Paragraph 1. B. Paragraph 2. C. Paragraph 3. D. Paragraph 4. 45. Which of the following is true according to the passage? A. Iceland has increased their fish catch by 30% in the last 20 years. B. Pedor Oddsson was an important member of the Icelandic project. C. Cross-field collaboration has proved to be very fruitful for 100% fish. D. 100% Fish is a big international enterprise marketing seafood products. 44. What does this pioneering procedure in the second paragraph refer to? A. 100% Fish's mission. B. Odson's skin transplant. C. A fundamental change in seafood business. D. A new approach to protect the environment. 43. What is the primary goal of 100% Fish? A. To advance ocean technology. B. To reduce food crises worldwide. C. To enhance cross-industry cooperation. D. To make the most of marine resources. Questions 39 to 42 are based on the following passage. Thomas Moran, a famous painter in the 19th century, played an important role in the establishment of American national parks. His vivid paintings brought the splendor of the extraordinary landscapes before the eyes of American people, thus setting the stage for the regions to be widely recognized and officially established as national parks. Moran came to the United States at age 7 with his family and settled in Philadelphia. They came from northwest England, the blackened heart of the Industrial Revolution. Its main street was a dark, unattractive hole, and the river running through it was a string of dirty water. That was all the nature that Moran knew. Moran began painting by age 15, inspired by the landscape paintings of the British master J.M.W. Turner. There was plenty of landscape for him to paint in America, much different from his hometown. Showing great talent in painting, Moran was soon hired as an illustrator at Scribner's Monthly, and later appointed chief illustrator by age 34. In 1871, he was appointed to illustrate The Wonders of Yellowstone, a story by Nathaniel P. Langford, who had participated in an expedition to Yellowstone. Captivated by the utterly fantastic sights Langford described, Moran became eager to see this odd territory for himself. In 1871, Moran joined the first U.S. government survey of the Yellowstone region with photographer William Henry Jackson. For 2 weeks he filled his sketchbook with the landscape's most stunning sights. Moran's watercolors, the first color renderings of the area, as well as Jackson's photos and the survey results were presented to the Congress. His powerful images of Yellowstone fired the imagination of Congress members. In March 1872, lawmakers officially made Yellowstone a national park, the world's first. Before Moran arrived, Yellowstone in the popular imagination was a harsh, wild place with hot water and steam coming out of hellish holes in the ground. Since the painter's work appeared, Yellowstone National Park has come to be known as a picturesque wonderland. By the time Moran died, he had painted a dozen other areas that would become national parks or monuments. 42. What can be inferred from the passage? A. Scribner's Monthly was a magazine promoting national parks. B. Moran had visited Yellowstone before he started painting its landscapes. C. Color photos were not common when Moran started painting Yellowstone. D. Watercolor was the most popular form of landscape painting in the 19th century. 41. Which of the following statements is true about the Yellowstone National Park? A. Its establishment was proposed by Langford. B. Americans knew little about its beauty before the 1870s. C. The government project was started due to its rich natural resources. D. It was the only national park established because of Moran's works. 40. Why does the author use the blackened heart in paragraph 2 to describe Moran's hometown? A. The place was severely polluted. B. The town was filled with darkened holes. C. There were many evil-hearted industry owners. D. The laborers mostly wore dark and dirty uniforms. 39. What can we learn from the passage? A. How national parks around the world were established. B. How Yellowstone's natural features were formed. C. Why Moran's family moved to the United States. D. Why Moran started painting Yellowstone. Questions 35 to 38 are based on the following passage. One fine morning in 1941, Swiss engineer Georges de Mestral went for a walk in the woods with his dog. Upon their return home, he found a lot of burrs, from plants, stuck to the dog's fur and his pants. He immediately rushed to his microscope and examined the burrs attached on his pants, feeling a light bulb moment coming on. Upon closer examination, de Mestral observed that the burrs, which appeared straight to the naked eye, actually contained many small hooks that clung firmly to the loops in the fabric of his pants. He determined that if he could recreate the same thing, making hooks and loops that bind to each other firmly, he could produce a strong fastener with many uses. De Mestral's first challenge was finding a fabric for a strong bonding system. He first tried cotton, but it proved too soft and could not withstand repeated openings and closures. After years of research and testing, he learned that synthetics worked best and eventually settled on heat-treated nylon, a strong and durable substance. By 1955, he had completed an improved version of the product, with each square inch of material containing 300 hooks, which made it stay fastened and yet easy enough to pull apart when needed. Named Velcro, from the French words velours, velvet, and crochet, hook, the new product received a patent from the Swiss government in 1955. De Mestral thus began mass-producing Velcro, opening plants in Europe and eventually into Canada and the United States. Initially, Velcro did not fare well. As most fashion critics considered it ugly and cheap-looking, the use of Velcro was limited to athletic equipment. In the early 1960s, the product received a huge boost in popularity when NASA began using it in a lot of equipment that went into space along with astronauts. Today, de Mestral's design is found almost everywhere: clothing and footwear, toys, airline seat cushions, blood pressure cuffs and surgeons' gowns. Most impressively, the magical fastener was used in the first human artificial heart transplantation to hold together parts of the device. 38. Which of the following fields is not mentioned for Velcro uses in the passage? A. Civil engineering. B. Aerospace industry. C. Medical technology. D. Sports and recreation. 37. Which of the following statements about Velcro is true? A. It has been a market favorite since its first appearance. B. Cotton was not durable enough to be used as its materials. C. It was given a French name because it was first produced in France. D. The design was intended to look as shiny and smooth as velvet. 36. What does the author mean by a light bulb moment in the first paragraph? A. A blessing in disguise. B. A happy ending. C. An unpredictable future. D. A sudden inspiration. 35. Which of the following pictures shows de Mestral's invention? A. B. C. D. 4. Passage structure. 8 points. Directions. Questions 31 to 34 are multiple choice questions. 2 points each. Questions 31 to 34 are based on the following passage. While Dr. Weinstein, a surgeon at Dartmouth College, was trying to lift a heavy box, he twisted his back. The pain was agonizing. The surgeon could not sit, and when he lay down he could barely get up. So he decided to go out for a run. He took an aspirin, iced the injured area, and off he went. When he returned, he felt pretty good. This seems to run counter to the common practice. When people have sprained a muscle or tendon, they are usually advised not to go right back to exercising until the pain goes away. But Dr. Weinstein says that approach is outdated and counterproductive. In fact, when active people consult him, he usually tells them to just keep exercising. Dr. Weinstein is not alone in his treatment of sports injury, but the specific advice can differ from specialist to specialist. Many suggest that most patients can continue with the sport they love. They nevertheless caution that a cutback may be necessary, such as running shorter distances or going more slowly. Others say the patients may need to engage in sports outside of their usual, main sport, that is, to cross-train, at least some of the time. Still others say the safest thing to do is cross-train all the time until the pain is gone. For example, an injured runner might end up cycling and swimming instead of running. Their consensus, however, is that unless the injury involves something as serious as a broken bone or a ripped muscle, moderate exercise can actually speed healing. Over time, researchers have come to realize the importance of exercising when injured. Thus, more and more patients are now advised to keep moving despite the pain. The rule of thumb, however, is to see a doctor first and get an accurate diagnosis. If a serious injury is ruled out and the pain is not getting worse after exercising, then the exercise makes a lot of sense. For example, an injured runner might end up cycling and swimming instead of running. B. Over time, researchers have come to realize the importance of exercising when injured. C. Many suggest that most patients can continue with the sport they love. D. This seems to run counter to the common practice. 3. Close. 10 points. Directions. Questions 21 to 30 are multiple choice questions. 1 point each. Questions 21 to 30 are based on the following passage. On a hilltop overlooking the 2011 tsunami hit Atsuchi town in northeastern Japan, there is a white phone booth standing all alone in the wind. The lonely, wind phone serves to connect family members to their departed loved ones who died in the tsunami that claimed 18,000 lives. People come to speak to those they have lost, to say the words they never got to say on that fateful day. The idea for the wind phone was first brought forth by a Japanese garden designer named Itaru Sasaki, who was grieving over the death of his cousin in 2010, before the tsunami. Feeling that he needed a private space to help him navigate through the sorrow, Sasaki positioned a booth where he could speak to the dead relative. The booth he built housed only an old dial phone with a disconnected phone line. When he stepped into the booth, he could pick up the phone to call his cousin, telling him how he was, and how he missed him. Sasaki stated in an interview, "Because my thoughts couldn't be passed on through a regular phone line, I wanted them to be carried on the wind." Hence, the wind phone allows Sasaki to create a one-way conversation with deep, soulful personal meaning, and renders the grieving process more manageable for him. Sasaki opened his wind phone to the public in 2011, after the devastating tsunami. News about the phone gradually spread, and the booth has become a bridge between the living and the dead. Phones resembling the wind phone have since been built around the world. Some were even set up to allow people to call their loved ones lost in the COVID-19 pandemic. Grieving is a natural mechanism for coping with loss of a loved one, and people grieve in various ways. For those who speak into the wind phone, hope is always there. They believe that their messages will, through some unknown way, reach the deceased. A. Passed on. B. Bridge. C. Sorrow. D. Hope. E. Departed. F. Mechanism. G. Housed. H. Manageable. I. Fateful. J. Brought forth. 2. Comprehensive assessment. 10 points. Directions. Questions 11 to 20 are multiple choice questions. 1 point each. Questions 16 to 20 are based on the following passage. The modern worker rolls out of bed, groans, and turns off an alarm clock before reluctantly getting up for the day's work. But how did people get to work on time before alarm clocks were widely used? During the Second Industrial Age, people toiled at unusual hours in mines or factories and often had to get up for work early in the morning. They could have used alarm clocks because adjustable alarms had been invented by the mid-19th century. But the new device was still relatively expensive and unreliable. British workers thus relied on a human alarm clock known as a knocker-up. Equipped with sticks or pea shooters, the human alarms would tour the streets, tap on windows, or blast them with dried peas, trying to wake paying customers in time for work. Whether they wielded rods or pea shooters, knockers-up became familiar presences throughout the United Kingdom. Every morning, these people, often older in age, were seen in big streets and small alleys, waking up their customers professionally. They usually would not leave people's houses until they were sure their customers were awake. While the practice continued in some parts of the country until the 1970s, it declined as alarm clocks became more widespread and affordable. Today, beeping alarm clocks and smartphones that play morning music are surely simpler and more convenient. However, they cannot match the personal attention coming from the distinctive tap of a pea shooter. 20. A. Forget. B. Change. C. Match. D. Regret. 19. A. Remained. B. Dismissed. C. Revised. D. Declined. 18. A. Familiar presences. B. Distant memories. C. Vague images. D. Public eyesores. 17. A. Aimed at. B. Trained for. C. Equipped with. D. Exhausted by. 16. A. Must be using. B. Could have used. C. Had hardly used. D. Were mostly using. Questions 11 to 15 are based on the following passage. Mystery shoppers are paid consumers who are hired to shop in stores and collect data. They are sent to a wide variety of service-based businesses, including stores, restaurants, and banks, potentially anywhere customers are served. Sometimes referred to as secret shoppers, mystery shoppers pose as regular customers to purchase items, eat in restaurants, make inquiries, or return items. They grade and report on the quality of products, customer service, and environment of the stores to which they are assigned. When evaluating a business, mystery shoppers have to follow certain standard procedures to avoid personal bias. They are often given a checklist that provides directions on what to observe or look out for to ensure consistency. Sometimes these shoppers collect data about their normal observations, such as cleanliness of the store or timeliness of the service. They may also pretend to be difficult customers, arguing with a salesperson without a good reason. With the data they collect, mystery shoppers can identify areas for improvement and thereby help enhance the quality of products and services. In this way, these secret shoppers may help a business gain a competitive edge. 15. A. Distribution. B. Expectation. C. Improvement. D. Management. 14. A. Difficult. B. Potential. C. Constant. D. Anonymous. 13. A. Keen competitions. B. Financial hardship. C. Racial conflicts. D. Personal bias. 12. A. In that. B. With which. C. For that. D. To which. 11. A. Call for. B. Pose as. C. Attend to. D. Engage in. 1. Vocabulary. 10 points. Directions. Questions 1 to 10 are multiple choice questions. 1 point each. 10. David felt disappointed when he found out that he could not choose his study partners, but would be randomly placed in a study group. A. Eligibly. B. Randomly. C. Apparently. D. Consequently. 9. As blood supplies have fallen to a critically low level, many hospitals are making an appeal for the public to donate blood. A. Appeal. B. Approach. C. Operation. D. Observation. 8. Located at the center of the city, the business hotel promises not only good service but also convenient public transport. A. Proposes. B. Contains. C. Promises. D. Confirms. 7. The team complained that its leader always took the credit for all the hard work done by the team members. A. Advantage. B. Revenge. C. Remedy. D. Credit. 6. In some countries, military service is compulsory for men only. Women do not have to serve in the military. A. Forceful. B. Realistic. C. Compulsory. D. Distinctive. 5. Artwork created by truly great artists such as Picasso and Monet will no doubt stand the test of time. A. Stay. B. Take. C. Serve. D. Stand. 4. The roasting heat and high humidity made me feel hot and sticky, no matter what I did to cool off. A. Density. B. Humidity. C. Circulation. D. Atmosphere. 3. Do you know what time the next bus is due? I've been waiting here for more than 30 minutes. A. Apt. B. Due. C. Bound. D. Docked. 2. Watching the sun emerging from a sea of clouds is a must-do activity for all visitors to Alley Mountain. A. Emerging. B. Flashing. C. Rushing. D. Floating. 1. People who desire a slender figure should exercise regularly and maintain healthy eating habits. A. Spicy. B. Slender. C. Slight. D. Slippery. This video was produced by YXAI. The fill-in-the-blank answers are for reference only.